Last month, I spent over 100 hours scrolling mindlessly on this damn phone. And during that same exact time, I was complaining that I had no time and no capacity to post my YouTube videos, to create more content, or to show up the way that I wanted to. But that ends today. It ends right now. I'm not going cold turkey or just relying on my willpower. Instead, I'm using a small device called the Brick to help me reset my relationship with my phone and with myself. So today, I wanna walk you through how I'm breaking my phone addiction, how I'm setting boundaries with my time and attention, and what I've already noticed changing in just a few short days. And I'm publicly committing to cutting my screen time in half, especially the social media consumption around it. So what was the first step towards making this change? Well, first, I had to become more aware of what my actual relationship to my phone is. And I think I've known for a while that I've been addicted to my phone. Anytime that I'm not asleep, I have my phone in my hand. I take my phone with me everywhere, including the bathroom. All gross, but we're being honest here. And I would scroll even past the point where it stopped feeling good. It almost felt like when you have a bunch of candy and you enjoy it at first a lot, but then your stomach starts to hurt, you start to feel really gross about it, you want to stop, but somehow you just keep going. That's exactly where I was with my phone. I'd look at it and I wouldn't even be paying attention to what was going on the screen, but I'd still continue to sit there. Stopping just seemed way too hard. And I really think that it was habitual. I just had a habit of having background noise on. I had a habit of keeping my mind stimulated, of wasting time, and of numbing out. But despite knowing this, despite having that recognition, it wasn't until I saw the hard data that I felt jolted into action. So I went to my settings in my phone and checked screen time. I saw that in 1 week, I had over 26 hours on Instagram. That prompted me to add up how many hours I had in total over the last month of May. That's how I discovered that between Instagram, Threads, and YouTube, there were over 100 hours completely gone because I fell into my phone. I spent over 76 hours on Instagram, over 10 hours on Threads, and more than 12 hours on YouTube. Adding that all together equals more than 4 full days. Those are 4 full days of content I can't even remember. 4 full days I could have been putting towards something that I really wanted. And I've always been the person to roll my eyes at the posts and the people who say, well, if you don't have time, just look at your screen time. How much time are you really spending? But maybe they're right. If I had just used 20 of those 100 hours to read, write, or film one of these videos, I'd be so much further along by now. Plus, the time that's not factored into those 100 hours is the additional time I lose because of this habit. I think about all the hours that I wasted because I was sleepy after scrolling way too late into the night. Or how many hours I've wasted spiraling, comparing myself to someone else, or doubting myself because someone's post came across my screen. That awareness and adding up all of those hours is how I got to where I am today. It's how I got to deciding that I need to do something about this. And I have tried willpower before. I've tried telling myself that I just won't scroll. I've tried avoiding it in the morning by putting my phone in a different room to charge and buying an alarm clock. I've deleted the apps on my phone. I've tried Apple's native screen time solutions, but would always just hit another 15 minutes or add 1 more minute here or there because I'd say it's just 1 more minute. And really, none of these had enough friction or inconvenience to cause me to stop, which is why I bought the Brick during their Black Friday sale in 2024 and have decided to use it on and off since. But now that I have this awareness, like I just broke down, I'm recommitting to using this because I'm grossed out by over 100 hours of scrolling. If you haven't seen it before, the Brick is a physical square that combines with an app on your phone. When you set it up, you select which apps you want to allow and which apps you want to block. You can create different modes for different times of day or different scenarios. I had tried to create different Brick settings for when I'm working and when I'm sleeping and over the weekend, but found that it was too complicated and added too many decisions. So now I stick to just one default setting and use it almost all of the time. The thing that makes this different is that once you hit Brick, the apps are fully blocked. The screen will say this is a distraction and there's no way to get past it. Apple's screen time tool tools will let you say, add 1 more minute or add 15 more minutes. The brick will not let you pass the limitation unless you tap your phone to the actual device. So on my default setting, I have Instagram, Threads, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn bricked. Basically anything that has a slot machine style swiping feature is completely gone. I also brick my email because I find that I anxiously refresh that inbox to get those dopamine hits or to get, honestly, stress hits too. I do keep the essentials available. For me, that's maps, messages, my banking app, and a meditation app. I do also leave Spotify available for music. That's the really great part about it, is that you can customize it as much as you want and know what the scrolling triggers are for you, which may be different than what they are for someone else. I did mention before that I had been using my brick on and off since purchasing it, but I think this feature that they just added is what is allowing me to really stick with it this time. Brick recently added a scheduling feature where I can set it to auto brick my phone at a certain time. For me, I brick my phone at 9 p.m. every night because I know that I don't need to be scrolling past 9 p.m. I could instead be sleeping, I could be reading or talking with my partner. There is no reason that I need to be on my phone for work or for fun past 9 p.m. And before they introduced this feature, I wouldn't be as consistent because I wouldn't actually go up to the brick to shut down the device. Taking away that moment where I'd have to make a decision made it so much easier to use and created the friction I needed to stop using it. Plus, once the schedule turns on the brick for you, you still have to go up to the physical block to unbrick. So what that means is that if it goes bricked at 9 p.m., I wake up and it's still bricked. I can't scroll first thing in the morning. I can't check my email first thing and get stressed out about what I find on it. What I do tend to do is check my bank account, check my messages, and then do a tapping meditation to start my day. That makes it easier for me to stay focused the rest of the day. And I can't tell you how many times, like I said, I've put my phone outside the room, I've had the alarm clocks, all that stuff. I can't tell you how many times I've tried to avoid my phone in the morning, but would fall into the rabbit hole anyway. But with the brick, it makes it so much easier because I'm not having to use willpower. I just can't do it. And our brains are sneaky. They give you reasons for why you need to check on your phone, why you need to connect with your friend by sending them a reel, or why not checking that email is gonna be the biggest disaster of your life. So now I don't have to deal with all that because I have the brick. That allows me to start my day intentionally. And when I am ready to get to work, I can check my email and I can check my Instagram direct messages from my desktop. I can look, I can decide what needs to be responded to, I can decide how I want my day to go, and then move on. And I've found that just in the last 5 days or so of me doing this, I only unbrick my phone when I need to post to stories or post on a reel. Then I'm very quick to re-brick because just having Instagram available, just having Instagram as an option is so tempting. It's so mindless to just click it and scroll and then 10 minutes go by, 20 minutes go by. So I've honestly had days where it's bricked for 20 plus hours. And the benefit to me isn't just that I can't access it. The benefit to me is how much more mindful and self-aware I am. Because I have to get up to unbrick, I have to pause long enough to ask myself, why do I want to scroll right now? What is it that I really need in this moment? If it is to check my email or Instagram and it's an appropriate time to do so, I can go do that from my laptop. If I say, oh, well, I do want to see a funny video from a friend, I recognize that's me wanting connection and I text that friend instead. And sometimes I notice that I'm just picking up my phone out of habit. I feel like I want to do something with my hands, or I'm waiting in line somewhere and want to waste the time. I also know that the real rule is that I pick up my phone to avoid, to numb out, to distract myself. This happened just the last Monday. I had a conversation that left me feeling kind of uncomfortable, and I didn't like the way I communicated or how the other person shared something. And as soon as the conversation was over, I noticed how I ran to go pick up my phone. I felt the frustration in my body and I wanted to numb it out. I didn't want to feel that. But my phone was bricked, so I didn't really have another choice. I felt my feelings and turned to a tapping meditation app instead. I did a 10-minute tap on releasing resentment, and let the feeling pass. It would have been a lot easier to scroll. I wanted to tell myself that it's okay to just turn my brain off for 5 minutes, but that would have let the feelings fester and have made the rest of the day a whole lot worse. I've also noticed that I turn to my phone when I want to avoid hard work, like planning episodes, responding to client emails, or just extra thinking. I tell myself I need some inspiration and that's why I need to scroll. But I know that I'm just doing it to procrastinate. So that's where I'd like to bring in another tool that I use in those moments in particular. And that's this little timer. I turn on this timer for 5 minutes or even 10 minutes and just tell myself I have to focus for that short burst of time. This allows me to build momentum way more than I expected to. It may not be perfect and I may not actually do everything that I need to get done. But by combining a bricked phone where I have no other choice and just giving myself 5 to 10 minutes to work, I'm already making so much more progress. And of course, I don't expect myself to always be working either. So I give myself alternatives like reading or cleaning, finally folding my laundry, or simply just laying down. I just started diving into this intentionally a few days ago, and I've already noticed such a difference. Like I mentioned, I've done more tapping meditations. I've gotten out of bed on time because I'm not scrolling, waiting until the last possible second, which has meant I've taken longer, more mindful showers. And I've pushed myself to write more episodes, film more episodes. Of course, I know that as the days and weeks go by, I may be more tempted to slip back into my old habits. But so far, I'm already seeing that my phone was taking way more from me than it was giving to me. And the less I use my phone, the more time I have for creativity, the more space, the more mental clarity I have for creativity, and the more present I am with the people that I love. And this matters because this isn't just about screen time. It's about who I'm becoming, who I'm claiming I want to be, and what I can do when I'm not constantly consuming. I want to build a life and a business that I'm really present for. So again, my goal is to really cut down my screen time in half. And specifically keeping Instagram, Threads, and YouTube to under 30 hours, which is roughly an hour a day for the whole month. And with that commitment, I want to ask you, what's your relationship to your phone like? Are you scrolling even after it stops feeling good? Are you using your phone to numb or to avoid? And are there goals that you've been pushing off because of how much time your phone steals from you? Let me know in the YouTube comments or shoot me a DM on Instagram at Issa Media Inc. to let me know. Let's hold each other accountable. And I'm excited to share what I get to create with all of this extra time and what insights I'm able to have when I'm not just scrolling and avoiding. So I will see you in next week's episode.